Hello friends. So I have been going back and forth debating on making this video. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, but I have been suffering from deep depression, and despite that I have so many video ideas for this month, but also they're seemingly about book talk, and I don't want all of my video discussions to be around or surrounding book talk. But it's a very popular social media app and I'm on there all the time, and I just feel like what I have to say is not long enough for their content. Even if you can make 10-minute videos, booktube is my home, booktube is where I started at. It just makes more sense for me. And I mean, you don't have to watch every single one of my videos. Like, if you don't like that I talk about TikTok a lot, like, you just don't have to watch it. I was gonna make this video, but then I was like, oh, I might not make it fast enough, someone else might make it, and someone it did make the video. I didn't watch it, but I don't think that we have the same like things to talk about. So anyways, today I'm going to be talking about how turning your brain off to read is not helping at all. So I don't know if you know what the whole like turning your brain off to read thing, but it's something that's like heavily popular and heavily said on TikTok. It's basically an easy way for white women or women in general to avoid talking about political things or talking about things going on in real life, and so that they can just be like, I don't want to talk about these things, I just like to turn my brain off and read and get away from these things. Oh, my candle is done for. Like, I tried to light it, it's done. She's done. I can't do anything with her. She was so loved. Rest in peace. It's basically something that a lot of people on book talk do, and they just go like, I don't like to talk about these things, like I like to escape from the real world, and books are my escape, and I don't want to talk about authors and what they're doing or politics or anything like that. Like, I just like to turn my brain off and read. And it's something that I've always hated, and I've been wanting to make a video about this for months but couldn't figure out how, because I don't want to come off as condescending. Yeah, I don't want to come off as condescending, or I don't want to come off as looking down upon someone for what they read. I read literally everything. Like, my issue is when you're not consuming what you've read. And I felt like it was a bit hypocritical, because one of my main things about reading is that there's no rules to reading. A lot of people in the book community, they like to be like audio, like, this isn't reading. Like, oh, if you don't remember everything that you've read in a book, then that doesn't count as reading, and blah blah blah. And like, my whole argument is there's no point to reading. You can read however you want. So it will be contradicting for me to say that, but then also say that turning off your brain to read makes you stupid. But no, I think there's a deeper conversation here that needs to be had. I know some of you are going to be mad because I am talking about politics, but I don't care. I don't necessarily avoid politics. I just don't really like heavily talk about it in my like YouTube content. It's not because I don't think that we shouldn't discuss them. It's just the fact that some of y'all piss me off, and I'm a black woman. Like, let's be real. I don't want to perpetuate the angry black woman stereotype, but I am a black woman and I am angry. So, and a lot of y'all piss me off. I guess I do perpetuate the stereotype. Oh, fucking well. That being said, if you don't like politics in your media, get out of here. Because a lot of people, they like to watch things that like purposely make them angry and then leave comments. I'm gonna let you know this right now. There's gonna be one or two things that are gonna happen. I'm either gonna sit there and I'm gonna argue with you because I have nothing but time, or I'm gonna delete your content because this is my video and I can do whatever I want. And this is a dictatorship, and I do censorship on this channel. I don't believe in censorship in the real world. I do believe censorship in core land though. Okay, so everyone has to do what I say or else. Let's get into why we're here. So basically, with the election, there are a bunch of people on book talk who are like, I don't want to talk about politics because politics don't belong on book talk. And that is the dumbest piece of shit I've ever heard in my life. And I believe that turning your brain off to read is a direct cause of this. Okay, people not understanding that books are political no matter what. Be fucking serious. This isn't a topic that we haven't heard in the book community before. Last year, a rise, from what I've noticed, a rise in like this saying started last year, around when things start to happen with Palestine, and there were people who didn't want to speak up because they were like, I turn my brain off to read, or people who didn't want to stop supporting authors who don't support Israel. They were like, I like to keep my politics out of books, which is so crazy to me because you cannot separate the art from the artist. The artist is always going to put their beliefs into their media, whether you notice it or not. Let's be real here. And with America's president that's going to be in the office in 2025, Book Talk has rightfully so been talking about politics. I don't think there is a community that does not revolve around politics. Like, even the beauty community. Like, there's nothing that we do in this world that is not political. Me sitting here, I mean, I'm a black woman, so everything I do is political, if I'm being real. I mean, being a woman in general, like, there's nothing that you, like, women weren't allowed to do a lot of stuff. I mean, we know women weren't allowed to vote. White women weren't allowed to vote until 1920. Black women weren't allowed to vote until 20 years later. White women weren't allowed to read until the 1950s. Black women weren't allowed to read until 1965. Everything we do is political. And anyways, even if you don't believe that books are political, whatever, it was important to vote because one of the things that the president, I don't know why I'm treating him like it's Voldemort, but the upcoming president has on his like Project 2025, which is like this list of things that like that his supporters want to put in to place when he is president. And a lot of people are saying that like he doesn't know anything about it, even though he's mentioned it before. Whatever, even if it's not, that list is alarming. And at least from what I've noticed, some of the talking points that he's mentioned are things that are on the list. But what do I know? I'm just a girl who reads. Anyways, my point is that one of the things on the Project 2025 is that they want to get rid of, two of the things on the Project 2025 is that they want to get rid of porn, and that they want to get rid of, I don't know if I can say that. Now, I'm probably going to censor myself in this video simply because of what I'm talking about, and I know that YouTube is a little sticky. Usually I don't care for censoring myself, but this video is important to me. So, corn, replace the C with the P. One thing that the future president, upcoming president, wants to get rid of is corn, replace the C with the P, and banning books. There's already been a list of books that are being banned. So when I got into an argument with somebody who said that banning books are a myth and that like they aren't really banned, they just aren't, like, you can still access them, they just, that's a myth. And if you believe that dumb shit, fine. I don't even want someone as dumb as you watching this fucking video. Let's start there. Anyways, so with that being said, if the future president is banning corn and all you sit there and read is smut, what do you think is gonna happen? First of all, we should be talking about the importance of book banning, because the books that they're banning aren't just books that you think, you know, gay people, people of color. No, they're banning 1984, The Hunger Games, Twilight. There was a TikTok that was posted with a link of a spreadsheet, and I tried to find the spreadsheet, but I couldn't when I typed in the link. Personally, for me, I've been looking at a website from my library. So I'm gonna link the website from the library so you can go through it and it'll tell you why. When I tell you, a lot of like dystopian books are being banned for ideology and racism, but they have other books, they also have black books banned for talking about race, or like, it's so obvious. Yeah, basically. So if they are banning corn and they're banning books that aren't just, ooh, we shouldn't talk about race, we shouldn't talk about sexuality, we shouldn't talk about fascism, which is censorship, what do you think they're gonna, if they're banning Twilight, what do you think they're gonna do to your precious little smut books? This isn't about if Twilight is well written or not. It's about censorship, okay? So however you feel about Twilight, that does not matter. If they are banning Twilight, what the fuck do you think they're gonna do to your precious little smut books? Let's think about that for a second here. And I'm just gonna inject this and say this here because I feel like I need to. I don't think that I should have, but I feel like I need to. The topic isn't what books should be in school, because when people think of banning books, they think of what books are in school. Schools aren't the only place that ban books, so are libraries. So when I'm talking about, oh, these places are gonna ban corn, of course corn shouldn't be in school books. This is also about what people have access to in their local libraries. We all know that smut has had a rise in the book community since Book Talk has happened. I've been here. I say this in all my videos. I've been in the book community since 2015. I've been making videos since 2018. I remember when I read my first adult romance book, I was like, oh wow, I wish they were less fade to black scenes. And it's so crazy how like now I only want to read fade to black because I don't care about smut anymore. But you cannot find that anywhere. I know there are two sets of people who are loudest about this topic and like not keeping politics out of books, and it's people who read romance and people who read romantasy. Sometimes that's a crossover, sometimes they're the same person, sometimes they're not, because not everyone reads the exact same genres. But I think this is absolutely a saying, because everything about reading is political. And a lot of people who read romance, first of all, if you read romantasy or fantasy and you think that books aren't political, you're just reading the books with your eyes closed. There's not a single fantasy book out here that isn't political. Even when you're reading your little Sarah J Maas books, those are political. Those have politics in it. Feyre being poor, having to feed her family, politics. Selena having to be this assassin and being basically a slave, politics. Okay, those are politics. So even if you think like, oh, I'm reading this cute little romantasy books, fantasy is built on politics. And if you're reading romance books and you think that, you know, oh, I'm just reading a cute little small town romance. First of all, most small town romances are filled with propaganda. Let's start there. I was gonna do a video on that, but I didn't think that what I had to say was good enough for a video essay. But I've been meaning to say it. Small town romances are built on propaganda. Okay, your little billionaire romances, they're billionaire politics. Those mafia romances, politics. You reading romance in general, politics. Because I don't know if you know this, but white women were not allowed to read until the 1750s. So even if you think like, oh, this is a cute little romance book, there's nothing political going on in here. Yes, there is. I was so crazy because I saw this video today, and it was this girl. Well, I saw this video has been going around on book talk. I'm not gonna post it because I believe the girl is a minor. Okay, she looks like a minor to me. I went through her TikTok page. Well, I looked at some of the books on her TikTok page just briefly. A lot of them were YA books. I believe she's a minor. I don't know if she is, so I'm not gonna open her up to this kind of hate. But there's this girl on book talk, and she posted this video, and she basically was like, oh my gosh, I'm happy that that man got reelected because $10 paperbacks are on their way. First of all, that's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. Books are never gonna go. The price of something, like the price, if people are buying books at a certain price, why would they go down? Like, it's already shown that people will buy this no matter the price. Like, people will buy this, so why would it go lower? So besides that, I was looking through her account. Well, I was looking at her most recent videos because her comments were turned off, and I was very curious to see what people were saying. So then I went to one of her most recent videos, and it was something about a TBR. And throughout all the YA books that she had, there was one book that I noticed that was Stalking Jack the Ripper. If you've never read Stalking Jack the Ripper, it's literally about this girl who essentially wants to be a mortician. But because of the time that she is in, because it's a historical book, because of the time that she is in, she is a woman, she is not allowed to do that. But I think it was like her uncle or like her professor, something, one of the two. It's been a minute since I read it. He allows her to work under him. And not to mention, books are art, and art is inherently political. I understand that reading is an escape. My issue is when people try to shut down any type of politics in the community while the whole time they're holding Fourth Wing or any type of Sarah J Maas book. It basically comes to a point where it's like, what is the effect of turning your brain off to read? Like, are you not even acknowledging, like, are you even like really understanding what is going on in the book? And like I said earlier, there's no point to reading. So if you don't understand, like, is it, like, are you even comprehending, like, is this whole, like, turn your brain off to read, are you even comprehending? Like, I get it's just like, oh, like, because these are hobbies and, like, it's cozy and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, there's no hobby that isn't political. Even when it comes to crocheting. The price of the fucking needles, the price of the yarn, political. It's gonna go up or down or whatever. You know? Turning your brain off to read, you're not really understanding what's going on at all. Like, you're not really comprehending anything at all. Okay? Because we know that to read isn't to comprehend. Try not to judge people when they say like, oh, I turn off my brain to read. Sorry, but you can't ignore the world that we live in simply because it's too much for you. There are some people who have to wake up every day knowing that this world hates them because of their skin color, their sexuality, the class that they're in, their gender. And they have to live their life knowing that this world does not respect them or love them because of those things. And we can't just stop the world and ignore that. So yes, books are political, and turning your brain off to read only makes you dumb enough to think that something isn't more than just a book, and that maybe someday your rights to be able to even read that book could be taken away from you. Your access to that book could be taken away from you. So yeah, that's it for this video. It's a topic that I've been thinking about for a few days, and I have some other things that I want to say. I fear they may not be, I don't know, I gotta see. Sometimes with my depression, sometimes I feel like something, sometimes I do not. So we'll have to see. But thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting me. Pick up a book and comprehend what you're reading, and I'll see you guys in the next video.